Chlöe Swarbrick.
Are the profits of government majority-owned gentailers excessive?
Again, the challenge is about increasing the supply of electricity in this country. That is the single biggest thing that we can do. We saw a failed energy policy that had quite a chilling effect on investors. We saw a very convoluted Lake Onslow program that was billions of dollars in late delivery. We saw $800 megawatt per hour prices in 2024, thanks to a bunch of bumper stickers and post-it notes.
Speaker? Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Chlöe Swarbrick.
I understand that usually, there's a leniency with regard to addressing the question, but in that answer, the Prime Minister did not even address the terminology of profit.
Well, thank God, because it'd be a long afternoon if he was to do that. I think also, if you think about your question, you ask a question that it would be practically impossible to answer. When you ask what was excessive, that would take quite a degree of discussion.
There is internationally accepted metrics on that, but Mr. Speaker, supplementary.
Well, then I'm sure that the member will provide that to the
I'm happy to
office.
table them.
No, well, if you want to, but I don't think there's enough room in the building to table all of that stuff. But it can be used as a backup to a written question. A question on notice.
Supplementary. Will his government use their majority shareholding in gentailers to rein in their profits and lower New Zealanders' power bills?
We expect the gentailers to be giving consumers a fair deal. That's why we are strengthening the EA with new powers to make sure that they can increase fine and make sure companies play by the rules.
Is the Prime Minister comfortable with near record power company profits and dividends being paid out to shareholders, helping to improve the look of the government's books, while 65,000 more New Zealanders could not afford to heat their home adequately last winter?
For the member to understand power prices, which we want to see downward pressure on power prices for sure, that requires us to put in place an energy strategy that makes sense and is coherent. Not just go... I'm ignoring the OECD. Okay, it's a lovely report, but we actually have our own view on how we actually put energy policy together in this country. And we're not going to do the mistake that the Labor Greens government did, where you created $800 megawatt power prices and low and middle income working people lost their jobs. Unacceptable.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
In the years 2021, 2022, 2023, how many times did Chlöe Swarbrick ask those questions?
That's a matter of House record, not for the Prime Minister.
The OECD on that, saying that it risks locking New Zealand into fossil fuel dependence. So is that not a case for actually reconsidering that?
No, a load of rubbish. Not interested in that report. No, the report's a load of rubbish. I'm not interested.
About the OECD.
Sure, that's fine. The OECD.
Is the OECD a load of rubbish?
No, Jenna, that's not what I said. What I said is there's a lot of reports that have a lot of different views on New Zealand. We're the ones that are dealing with a failed energy policy from the last administration. What we're making sure is that we have a doubling of renewables, and we've got a lot of renewable activity going on across the country at the moment, which is fantastic, with foreign investment, domestic investment. But we also need to make sure we cover off the dry year risk. So we are looking at LNG import facility. We actually do have a strategic coal reserve we're putting behind Huntley now. We do now have a strategic diesel reserve that we're putting into Marsden Point, because what we're not going to tolerate is sort of kumbaya and mush, as we saw from Labor, with all bumper stickers, and actually causing real pain and suffering for working New Zealanders. They end up losing their jobs because we had an energy crisis in 2024 because of a failed energy policy. So, with all respect, LNG import facility, and actually backing up, following our investment with, mob companies that want to do thermal investment, and making sure we've got a strategic coal reserve, and making sure we've got a renewables boom. It's an and to take the risk out of our policy or our system, so that we actually get low electricity prices.